Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to Just the Tip, episode 10. On today's episode, we're going to talk about last week's tips and have a little review of them, and then we're going to talk about this week's tips all over the country. Race 1 was a no-bet race for us, but I really liked how Vinland hit the line strong late. Definitely one of those horses to watch in the next preparation for it. I think it'll go out for a spell now, but it was, quite a way back on the turn and hit the line strong. In race 2, we had Red Kirk Warrior. Fantastic ride by Craig Williams. Didn't use the whip at all, just hands and heels all the way through the line and got there for us. In race 3, we had Kawi, and as I said, didn't need to say much about it. Melbourne Cup 4th, comes here and wins, dominant, fashion, and grinds from the front, and that weight difference didn't make any, problem for it at the end, so fantastic win for that. Then in race 4, we had Brook, who really needs cover from early on in the race, and just didn't get it. Just was left out in the open for a long time, and just over-raced because it was a bit keen, and, just flopped a bit, but that's alright. Race 5, we had Prompt Response, and as I said, the market was spot on with this race. That's why I took the favourite. I just thought it was the best horse in the race anyway, but just took it because the market was framed really nicely on this one. So a nice little return there. And as I said, Moonlight's Choice, definitely overs at that 13, ran really well, ran 5th or 6th or something like that, so it was really nice. Back in autumn, I'll definitely be following that horse. It looks like it has a lot of upside, a lot of talent. Race 6, we had Morton's Fork, who I really thought was in a lot of trouble at the turn, but wound up really nicely and hit the line strong. I really did think it was the quality colt in the field. Just had a little bit more talent than everything else that was going around and had the right form line, so good to get there as well, so another nice little win. Race 7 was a no-bet race, and it was heart-in-your-mouth stuff if you were on it, because there was about 3 horses with all a good chance. I thought Big Orange's really strong fight back late was awesome. Really good watch, good race to watch, but no bet for myself. Race 8, we had Super Cash. He was last on the bend, and this began the day of being at the back and, showing a lot, but not getting there, so... finished 3rd, really should have been the winner if it was a little bit closer. Just got shuffled back and finished nice 3rd. Race 9, we had Alaskan Rose, again unlucky. Maybe a jockey change, that's all I'm thinking now. The horse has definitely got enough talent, and I've been backing it for a long time. I'm going to keep backing it. It's definitely one of those horses that's going to win at a big odds. And, it won big at the first race this prep, has hit a 3rd at a nice odds as well, so... I don't know, it just needs all the favours, unfortunately, and I think that it just didn't get it on this day. It was second last on the turn, which is just, nowhere, coming around the bend at Sandown. Really needed to be on the speed all day. And race 10, Shillelagh in the same boat, just no favours. Definitely going to go around at a big price, probably its next start, and, it's going to be one of those ones I'm going to gravitate to as well. So between those two, both forgives because they're coming from basically well back in the field. They'll weave their way through, but just really disappointing to watch. So this week, with the Ballarat meeting, I'm not really that keen on too many horses, so I've looked wider. I've had a little assess of the Group 1s in Perth, which is probably where I'll have a little bet there. Had a look at the Rose Hill fields, which I think are a little bit stronger this week in comparison to the Victorian market, so I've had a couple of bets up there, and I'm just going to review my best at Ballarat, but I'm going to probably do little bets there and hunt for a bit of value elsewhere. So we're going to start off with the Group 1 Railway Stakes up in Perth. That's race number 8. And I've landed on number 4, He or She. Now, I know that that's the Victorian horse and you're going, oh, that's a little bit of bias, but I really think that this horse has, been prepared for this race. This last couple of starts have been really nice. That 3rd behind Winks, I know it was only in a 3-horse race, but a 3rd behind Winks looks fantastic. Its last start was a bit of a flop, but it has been definitely freshened up for this race. Now, it is owned by, Western Australian interests, and that's why they've gone over to have a challenge at this race. 1,600 metres is definitely its go, and dry, and it's definitely dry over there. It's been at 38 or something in 22 overnight in Perth this week, so definitely going to be a nice, dry, firm track, which, he or she's going to like. And I just like the Craig Williams booking. It's just a really good jockey on board as well. He's been with him the whole prep. And I just think that the horse is going a lot better than people have really assessed it as. When you're getting 17 to 1, I'm willing to have a little bit each way just to see how it goes and hopefully get a winner there. I really respect, number 1, Kiwi. I think that definitely the Kingston town when it goes to weight for age. So in a fortnight time, that's where I'm going to hit this horse. It's 12 to 1 at the moment in the market for Saturday, but it's about 7, 8 to 1 in a fortnight, and I think that's where you should be attacking this horse. At weight for age, it's going to be really hard to beat. And number 5, Good Project, I thought was definitely set for this race as well. Has the good form lines, good gait, and Hugh Bowman, so definitely one to consider as well. And number 14 was the one that I just thought was under the odds, but was probably going to be my bet until I saw the price it went up at. If you gave me $10, I probably would have been having a little bite at it. I just think that the horse is really progressive. It's had a few starts for finishing in the minor placings and winning at like every start it's had. Its Group 3 win last start was really impressive. It, you know, got stuck in a little bit of an awkward spot, over raced, and then it hit the line really strong. Strait, who came second in that race, is racing in the race previous to this, or race 6 during the day. So if that horse performs well, even though it's going up such you know, a long way in distance, I think if that horse performs well, that you could definitely take the form line out of that and say that, you know, that gives it a little bit more chance. But I just think that its Group 3 win was impressive, but probably at Group 1 it's going to be found out, and I really would have liked to have seen it at $10 to $12, and that's why I've gone towards he or she, just for the value. And the last horse I want to talk about is number 6, Perfect Reflection. It's the favourite, of course. I just think that the 1.5 kilo penalty it got last start is just going to be too much for it. It's a lot of weight for that type of horse. I know it's got Pikey on board, and, you know, back Pike, drink what you like. But I just think that he's not riding in absolute career best form at the moment. So at that 550 rock bottom, I'm just gone around it. So I've gone with he or she. The next race I'm going to have a look at is the WA Guineas, and it's a really strong field, but, you know, getting that strong field, you have $6 to the field, which is basically, for me, is a yuck betting race. You pretty much want to stay away from it if you can, but I've just had a look at it because, you know, the value there, and also it's like, you know, group quality, so you may as well have a little look. I really liked number 6, Lusaha. I really thought that its lead up was fantastic. It has the right weight, the right jockey, and I just thought it's done nothing wrong. Well, if it's done nothing wrong, why can't you have a little bet at it? It's got the $9 price at the moment, which is not bad each way. And if you're looking away from Whispering Brook, who I've got on for my second pick, I think that's where you should go. Why I've gone away from Whispering Brook, I don't like horses returning from Melbourne after a long trip. Had a couple of really hard runs, obviously performed well, and I think will be the best horse in this race going into the future. But, you know, I don't like it coming back. I would have liked to have seen it get spelled. I would have liked to have seen it in the paddock, come back in autumn and attack it then. I think this is an afterthought race. I think it's just like, oh, well, we may as well, the horse is running well, we may as well chuck it in the nomination. And I just think that if one thing goes wrong, then the horse won't perform. And when you're only getting $6 for it, you know, it's a lot of risk for not much return. And it's drawn wide, which when it did draw wide in Melbourne, didn't perform up to its standard. So I think that I've just gone away from the favourite a little bit, just because of those reasons. I definitely think it's the best horse in the race, but I've just gone away for those reasons. And I really like number 9 as well. It's the same boat as Lusaha. I just think that has done nothing wrong, and if you're looking away from the favourite, another one nice to bet on. Now let's move on to Ballarat. As I said, I've done a little bit of cherry picking, and I've just picked my, you know, the better bets of the day, the better horses, and, you know, definitely the cream rises to the top in these type of meetings. You've had the, you know, the carnival, the 4-day straight, then the nice Sandown meeting to wrap it up. So this is now the second tier horses that are really going to be attacking these type of races. And that does even up the fields, but you can still find a little bit of juice, a bit of value. And Ballarat, if it plays the same as it did last year, will probably be a little bit leader biased. So on speed is better. So if you're looking for just you know, an each way bet, probably pick something that's on speed. You can get the speed maps off of punters.com or do your own speed map. If you are up to that standard, you can always have a look at the previous races and kind of work out where the horse is going to run. So for that, I've landed on number 1, Sea Spray in race 1. Now, I know it's going to be coming from the back, but I just think that it's that each way price is nice, 13 to 1. I'm willing to have a little bit of a stab at it in race 1 just to see how the track's playing. Obviously, if it comes up and wins, you know that it's not going to be as leader biased as it was, but maybe just a little $5, $10 each way just to start off the day, see how we go there. I really think that number 3, Entrancing from Adelaide, is a freaking freak of a horse. It's looking fantastic. Now, it's probably going to be leading and or get to the box seat. And I just think that its last start, it got shoved out a little wide and had to race a little bit hard, and that's why I got overrun in the straight. But I like the way the horse strides. I really think this horse has a lot of potential and a lot of future. I've just gone away from it because of the price. It's, you know, $3.80 or something like that, which is really short. But if you're willing to take the $3.80, probably going to be the horse to beat. I just like Sea Spray had just a little bit more scope, a little bit more potential with the price. And I'm just going to box 1, 2, and 3 together. I think they're the 3 best horses in the race, and that's what I'll have a little bet on. Race 4, we've got the Clockwise Classic. Now, I really think this is an interesting race. It's a nice concept by the Ballarat Club. It's the only race in Victoria that runs clockwise, so definitely something to get confused about and have a look at. But it's a really nice race. I think there's a lot of really nice horses in it. Not a lot of trials, though, so generally I like to stick away. I just thought number 2, Explicity, goes up at $21, has the race experience. I really like the way that when it got knocked down in the straight, it did pick itself back up again and hit the line strong. That's a horse that wants to win. So if it does get a chance out in front, then you may, might bob up at 21s. I just think it's probably the only thing to bet on in the race. And number 1, American Genius, who on its previous start definitely looks like the obvious pick, but just a lot of unknowns in the race. But I'm going to have a little, $5, $10 each way on number 2, Explicity, just at the price. And I just think it has a little bit more potential than some of the others. So we move on to race number 5, and I've landed on number 9, Dollar for Dollar. Now, I really think this horse has a lot of potential, and I think on its trial, it looked like fantastic. Strode to the line, looked really nice. The horse that finished 3rd in that trial has come out and failed hard yesterday or the day before, so maybe not the strongest of trials, but the horse was never, let down. It just was hard held the whole way. I just really liked the action of the horse. I thought that it looked quite smooth, quite fluent, and I think that that's got a little bit more potential. I know its last start was at Murray Bridge in April, so that doesn't really scream bet on me, but I think that it was a really nice win, and it looked really nice in Adelaide the time before. I think that they were thinking about it at the beginning of the spring, and I'm not sure if there was something wrong because they trialled it and then they put it out for another couple of weeks. So I'm not sure if the horse wasn't quite ready or just had too much fat on it, but I think this time it's going to be ready to go. They've hit a little bit of the softer side of the, the carnival, as I said, so probably going to be a little bit more chance for it to get a win. 460 is a nice backable price. I think that the stable's on fire, and, it looked alright on the trial, as I said, so I think that's going to be the horse I'm going to bet on. I'm relatively keen on it, so I'm going to maybe have quite a big stake on Dollar for Dollar. Race 7, I really think it's a race in 3. I've got 1, 3, and 6 quite clearly above everything else in here, so I'm going to probably play with them in a quinella or a trifecta. I've landed on number 1, Golden Spin, for a couple of reasons. I really think its last start was really impressive, hit the line strong. I've got a suspect that it's going to be a Group 1 smoky one day. I just think that it's just got a little bit more talent than a lot of the others. I am wary that it is an import and second up, but I really think that that 955 at Moonee Valley was more like, a bit of just a test to see how it would go on Australian soil, more or less. And it was favourite that day. It did get rolled, but I tipped against it. But this time I'm going to be with it. I just think that it's a horse with a little bit more quality than some of the others in this race. I'm really scared of Secret Agenda. Has the rating, to definitely beat this horse. Obviously, this horse has only just come to Australia, but Secret Agenda, that really looks like it just should walk in. I don't really like the price, and as I said previously, I really think that the horse likes a little bit of give in the ground. So if it's a bit soft, then I would be leaning more towards that, but I really think Golden Spin has a little bit more upside, and the price, of course, and that's why I've landed on number 1. Race 8, which is the Ballarat Cup. It'd be rude for me not to talk about the Ballarat Cup on Ballarat Cup Day. And I've landed on number 2, Ladari. I just think that this horse has been crying out for the trip for the last 2 starts. It's had 2, quite good efforts at shorter trips. And I just think they've been keeping it fresh to hit this 300 metre track and go up for a win here. Now, I know it's a really open field and quite a big field, but I just think you'll get a nice little run. I think that, John Allen on board is not a bad booking. He does tend to find a little bit extra in a horse. I think he's a great horseman. So, I'm quite happy with the jockey. It's not going to be a very big betting race for me, but I really think the Ladari has a lot more upside than a lot of the others. Gate 15 is a little bit rough. But, when you're getting $9 to see if it's got enough talent or not, I'm going to have a little bit of each way play. I think that its last start was really impressive when it was fighting to the line. If you watch the replay, you'll be able to see that the horse, picks up again, which is what I like to see. Hits the line strong a second time, and I just think that, Ladari is a little bit of a bet for me. Race 10, I've got number 12, Septimore on top. Now, it's right down the bottom in the list, but I really think that this horse is pretty close to a sure thing. The last time it had its run checkered was up at Goolwa, and then it came down to Morpheville and won nicely. So that was a little top up for me. I really like the horse. I think the horse has a lot of talent. If you watch its last race, it clearly was the horse that had the most to give. Now, I think that Mighty Like early in the day may frank the form. So if Mighty Like wins, I think that you should keep following this horse and maybe even increase your bet a little bit. It's probably going to be my best at Ballarat. I really think quite a lot of the horse. I have quite a high opinion of it. Had no run last start, as I said. And you know, you're getting 460 at the moment, which is quite a backable price. So I'm going to probably have a nice big bet on this in the last at Ballarat. Now we're going to go up to Rosehill and have a look at the card up there. In race 1, I've landed on number 3, Gibraltar Girl. Now, I think its last start win was very impressive. I love the way it pinned its ears back. It was sexy as fuck. I think that when the hit the line that strong, that's a horse that you want to back next start. It was clearly the best horse in the race. And I was really impressed with its win last start, so I'm going to back it again here. 460 is pretty juicy. I'm willing to risk a couple of the other horses who I think have a lot of talent, but this girl really looks good to me. Moving on to race 5, I really like number 6, Le Cordon Bleu. Now, I just think that this horse would be my bet of the day up at Rosehill. I just think that it ticks so many boxes. Its last start was impressive. Came 3rd behind Spieth, who went down and was very competitive and should have won a Group 1 in Melbourne. So that's got to be strong form lines. I just think that if you watch this race, it really hit the line strong. And even if it just takes half the progression that Spieth did out of the race, then it's going to be very hard to beat. You're getting a very backable price as well, about 460. So I'm very, very keen on it. As I said, it's going to be my back in Sydney. I just think that you can cornerstone a lot of multis into this horse too. I'm that keen on it. I just think that this horse is, you know, the goods in this race. Race 7, I've got it down to 3. I really think number 5, Religify, is the deserved favourite. Really should have won last start. I was on it and it finished in, you know, a nice second, but really should have won. I think that it's due for a win. It's had a fantastic prep and, you know, should be the deserved favourite. I think there's a few X factors in the race, and that's why I'm maybe going to lean away from it. Number 2, Red Excitement, is one of those. I just think that each way prize, it's, you know, match fit. Definitely a really good horse, and the speed is going to be on, and that's when this horse is going to do really well. I think that, you know, it's going to hit the line late, quite strong. It's going to come off peel off the back of them. I just think Rosehill is one of those perfect tracks where you can really just peel off the back late and hit the line strong. So at that price, maybe Red Excitement is something to have a bite at. And I really like number 3, Marinostro. I think that it wouldn't surprise me, especially after the way it's looked in its last preparation. I think it's a little bit short of its trip, but I just think that this horse fresh is quite good. It's got the you know, Chris Waller touch on it as well. Definitely a horse that's going to be on speed, and I think the on-speed battle may upset it, which is why I'm going to lean to Red Excitement. But I think that number 3 wouldn't surprise me at all. So I think those are the best 3 horses, and they're probably going to be the ones to take it out. Race 9, I've landed on number 16 in the Vanguard. It's one of these horses I've been following its whole prep. I really liked its chances first up, but failed, and that was the race that I took a lot of those horses with the form lines into the next, and, you know, the prompt response has franked that form, of course. I really think that it's a good chance in this race. Now, its last start looked like a lost puppy. It just had no idea where the finishing line was, and I think the addition of blinkers is fantastic. Now, this horse does like to race on speed, but I think it might get a little bit back in the ruck. But, you know, with the positive jockey change and you're getting $8.50 to have a look to see what it's got, I think with the blinkers, the horse just is a little bit more talented than some of these other horses. And I think $8.50 at the end of the day is not a little, you know, each way chance. Beautiful, and that's it for this week's tips. I really think that we've scattered around the whole country looking for some juice, and hopefully we find some. I'm really keen on he or she. I think it's going to be the horse that might bob up at a big price for us. I quite like a few in Melbourne, but I think Sydney is going to be where I'm going to be doing the majority of my betting this week. There's a couple in Adelaide I like as well, and I'll post them up on my Facebook page, so give us a follow and you can have a look at that. And hopefully we back a few winners.